the Cubs in the Central Division standings.
Oh, I know people don't like looking at standings in the middle of May. I do, though. I like to keep an eye on where the Cardinals are relative to everybody else, and I'll do it from April if I feel like it. But they have won 8 straight games. They do sit behind the Cubs by a game now in the division, but I think the important point is they've gotten themselves back above 500 with an 8-game winning streak. Welcome into the Gashouse gang. It is Tom Ackerman and Chris Ranji. John Rooney will join the show at 12:30. And we're glad you're hanging out with us today for the next hour. 314-436-7900. That's our number. Call us and text us right there. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, we're on at KMOX Sports on Twitter. If you do it there, you can leave a comment on the stream right there, and we will maybe get to your comment throughout the show today. If you have a question or whatever we're talking about, feel free to jump in. And of course, you can leave a message right from the Odyssey app. Tom Ackerman, this is more like it. I don't know if I don't know how long this is going to continue. None of us do, but this is way more like what we were hoping to get from this team.
Let's get some comments going today. Today. Hey, I just popped up that Lauren Walter picture. So she's the first commenter. She said, hey, off Facebook. You ever look at that picture a little closely? Who's she standing there with?
I cannot see it.
Somebody in a Cubs jersey.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
She's probably in one of those split houses.
Yeah. So let me paint a scenario for you. I don't look at the standings, although I've been peaking lately because they're on an 8-game win streak. I don't look at the standings. I haven't talked about them on the air except for this morning. I did mention that they're a game out of first because, well, they're a game out of first. But I don't look because they haven't played the Cubs yet at all. They're not going to face them until June 23rd, but let me paint a scenario for you. The Cardinals and Cubs are the 2 best teams in the division on June 23rd, and the Cubs come to Busch Stadium to take on the Cardinals. You're not telling me that rivalry isn't going to be spicy as can be, and as good as it's been in a while. And on top of that, the Cardinals, newsflash, have not been selling very well. Are Cardinals fans going to allow the Cubs fans, as Bernie Miklasz and I talked about on Sports on a Sunday morning yesterday, to take over Busch Stadium on June 23rd? They're not going to allow that, are they? And then Wrigley Field, July 4th weekend, the Cardinals fans go up there.
I will be there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's what this game is all about. It's about the fans. It really comes down to them. It's fun. The fans come, they make the excitement of the game even better. The Cardinals are 15-6 at home, and that's been great. So apparently they haven't really needed big crowds to do what they've done. But I have really enjoyed this style of baseball. I have said this over and over. I'll never tell fans what to do. You can go to the ballpark if you want. If you don't, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you what you're missing. And what you've been missing is a tremendously exciting, entertaining, granted, mistake-filled sometimes, baseball team. But they're winning some ball games right now, and they look really good. They beat the Mets twice. Before we start saying they only beat the Pirates and Nationals, they beat the Mets twice. I really like the way things have gone, and it's really across the board. There is nothing to complain about right now when it comes to the St. Louis Cardinals.
And they've taken 2 or 3 from the Phillies, which is the team they're going to play tonight. They took 2 or 3 from the Astros after that. They did get swept by the Mets on the road. But I think I would feel even better about what's happened over the last 8 games if they took 2 or 3 from the Mets this last time, as we mentioned, but then beating the Pirates and Nationals. If it had been, like the Yankees they did this against, or the Tigers, I'd probably feel a little better about it, but you cannot complain about winning the games that are on your schedule. And honestly, this is what you're supposed to do against the Pirates and Nationals. You're supposed to beat those teams. And you're supposed to leave no doubt. Of course, you're going to drop one every now and then. But these wins are going to matter later, because I am of the belief that you have to bank as many wins as possible early in the season, because you're going to hit some rough spots throughout the year. And a win against the Pirates counts just as much as a win against the Dodgers. So that's what you have to do. You got to take care of business when those opportunities are presented to you. So this is great. The run they're on, it is great. I hope they continue. They've been scoring. They have been pitching well from both sides, right? Starting pitching has been there. The bullpen has started to really shore up. And we talked about this with Matt Pauley during the show earlier. The fact that the starters have been able to go deep lately should pay dividends for them over the next couple of weeks, just because you're not having to blow out your bullpen every day. That is a very big thing. We were talking about starters innings at the beginning of the year and how they weren't doing it, and that just puts added stress on a bullpen that you're trying to figure it out anyway. And now you say, not only do we not know whose roles are what, with the exception of the closer, but now you got to pitch more than you're supposed to pitch otherwise. Well, now that's all been, at least temporarily, it's been fixed. But it does help the bullpen a ton moving forward if they keep it like this.
I really think everybody in the bullpen right now knows what their role is, and that's always important. We talk about that year after year. There's no magic really to what's happened here for the Cardinals. They're just doing what baseball teams do. Bullpen roles are starting to become established. We know that Helsley's the closer, but who's the backup closer? It's Graceffo right now.
Yeah.
Who is the setup man? It's Maton. We all knew that, but it's also Kyle Leahy. We all knew that it was JoJo Romero and John King from the left side, but did we know that Steven Matz was going to play such a prominent role in the bullpen? What a job yesterday. I like this formula of letting Michaelis go 70 or so pitches, and then Matz comes in and pitches an inning and 2/3 scoreless. That's a nice job by the Cardinal bullpen of knowing their roles and establishing those. You're right on about the rotation. I would say that Ryan Helsley's shaky outing in that 4-2 game, things got really interesting there, but they still won, and they won their 7th in a row. And maybe he hadn't been used in a while, and getting himself ramped back up. I don't know.
That's the thing.
You could take the guess there that that's what could have happened to Hells, but that's only because Jordan Walker had a hit that extended a 3-0 lead to 5-0. So they're like, Hells, sit. Roycroft, you're in, bud. So they finished the game that way. But yeah, that's the only thing that was hurting them. Offense has been pretty good most of the year. Starting rotation had a bump in the road at Fenway. We'll give them a pass on that. It was just an avalanche of trouble. But since then, it's been pretty solid. It's a serviceable bunch of starters with a potential star in the making.
Yeah.
In Liberatore and a ace, a legitimate ace in Sonny Gray. But the bullpen's been a problem. And now that it has come together, I don't see this team falling back too far. I might eat my words
as long as
that.
this holds, yeah.
But I might eat my words
hold
on that. But I think the bullpen is good enough to keep this team afloat for a while.
It always does. Not always. I shouldn't say always.
Right.
A lot of times it does take a little bit of time for a bullpen to get figured out. And I think it's even harder to do that if you're the manager, if you're having to account for more innings by using that bullpen than you would like to. And so that was the case earlier in the year. It has gotten better. It certainly has improved. Will it stay like this? I don't know. But, bullpens are volatile. And it can be the case that they could be pitching really well for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then they can fall off a cliff. But the one thing you can do is, or at least hope for, is that your starters continue to give innings so you're not overworking the relievers. And as long as you're not overworking the relievers, you've got that one problem solved in terms of workload. That's fixed. Now it's a matter of making sure that you don't add that stress onto them again. So just make sure the starters keep pitching deep into games. And then I think your bullpen should be okay. And if they're not, it's just, that's completely on them, right? It won't be that the starting rotation is affecting them.
Bill, and I popped that comment up there, said, sorry, but JoJo still scares me. I get that. Romero's had some ups and downs for sure. I think that the rotation sort of fed off each other. It started with that Liberatore start at home. It was really good. And that 7-inning start. And then Sonny Gray, who came roaring back after getting beat up by the Mets a little bit. He didn't have it against the Mets on that Friday night. He comes roaring back with 7 scoreless. And then the tremendous outing by Eric Fetty, who has not been great all year. He's had some issues issuing walks. And then he comes out and has that phenomenal shutout. And then Andre Palante, there's the infectious nature of this rotation. You want to keep the momentum going. He has his first and longest outing going into the 8th inning with a shutout going. Really, really good. And then I mentioned what Michaelis did yesterday. Nick comments that I think the biggest bright spot on this team is Vic. Can you imagine if he didn't make the opening day roster? I don't even want to think about it. Vic has been excellent. And while Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman have been sort of spinning their wheels here offensively, Walker's been good defensively. Vic has really risen above. He has been very good. He's stolen 11 bags. He's shown power. He can hit. He's got 11-game hitting streak going right now. We know he can play in the outfield extremely well. He's just got a great energy about him. He has been one of the guys I would elevate on this team and say, this is what you're trying to do. This is the definition of runway. You just said, Vic, take it and run with it, bud. And he has been fantastic.
We're not quite 2 months into the season. We still got a couple of weeks away from that. But I would argue at this point that him having done what he did during spring training and sort of proving his spot and forcing them to put him on the roster, even if they weren't thinking about doing it at the beginning of the year, that, and then what he's produced for them in almost 2 months of baseball. I don't know how many other guys in the game have done what he's been able to do. It's not like he's otherworldly or anything, but that's a really strong start to the season for a young player. Very, very strong. Yeah,
circling the bases on that base hit from Nootbaar was, I thought, a huge spark for this team. When he scored from first on a single, this is Bill saying Vic's been amazing. Very happy Nolan's still on the team. I think it's early, but if the team is contending, they should not sell. They should add. If anything, we are contenders. We can get into all that.
Yeah, I do want to talk about that for sure.
And then here's another one that I want people to chew on a little bit. This is Mark saying, I've had numerous people state to me, and I agree, the fans will not return until Mozeliak is gone. I feel if they want the fans to return, let Mo retire today and announce it. That's not happening, Mark. I mean, Chaim Bloom has a job to do. He's all over. He's canvassing the minor leagues. He is the next person. They've already announced that Mo is gone. I mean, he is basically setting the table. Chaim Bloom is in charge of this franchise moving forward. That is not going to happen. So Chaim Bloom is in charge of this organization starting at the end of this season from a baseball standpoint. He will answer to one person only, and that's Bill DeWitt Jr. So I don't know. I respect Cardinals fans immensely. I grew up one. You know, you're taking a stand, some of you, and that's fine. And I guess I have to respect it. But I'm just telling you fact. It's over. I mean, that era has already, the torch is being passed as we speak.
Yeah, so, and I don't put much into the idea that if you right now change the president of baseball operations mid-season, that people are just going to start coming to the games. That won't be the thing that does it. If you make a massive mid-season acquisition and it's a player, people are coming out for players on the field. They are not coming out because the general manager is there or there's a new president of baseball 100%. Operations. It just isn't. It's not how it works.
I said the same thing yesterday. You know, like, did we go to the games to go see Tony La Russa? Were people wearing La Russa jerseys in the seats? Did we go to the games for Bing Devine and Dal Maxwell?
And that's another thing. It's not even managers. You know, the Cubs aren't selling more tickets because they went and got Craig Counsell, the guy that everybody loves.
But I do understand, though. Don't get me wrong. I understand that fans get upset and that it probably lingered so long that they're like, that's it.
Yep.
I've had it. And they reached that point. Well, there is something happening here with this team. And I don't know that their floor is that low. I think that they are they have a good foundation under them is what I'm saying right here at this moment.
Yeah, I hope it continues. I mean, of course, I'm looking at this with healthy skepticism just because of the way things have gone for the last couple of years. And in a way, the Cardinals do need to prove it to us. And they need to do it over an extended period of time and not just the last couple of weeks.
I had a fan tell me on Saturday night, I refuse to give any credit to Ollie Marmol and John Mozeliak for what's going on right now. And I'm like, fine. I mean, if that's the way you want to be, then that's the way. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you reality. They've won 8 in a row. They've done a very good job assembling the team to this point, to get to this point. And let's just see what happens. This is going to be, I would just have some fun with it and just let this thing rip. see what happens.
314-436-7900. You can join the show. Leave us a voice message straight from the Odyssey app if you're listening there. And, of course, you can comment on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It is the Gashouse Gang, and it is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
The U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America is bringing free concerts to the metro area May 16th through the 19th. These family-friendly concerts will feature American airmen performing solos, duets, and small ensembles, showcasing patriotic music, classical selections, pop tunes, and more. Come see the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America May 16th through the 19th. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this important announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-384-7878, 800-384-7878, 800-384-7878.
When you retire, the paycheck from your job will likely stop. But here's what won't stop: bills, taxes, and medical issues. Sure, there's Social Security, but that may not be enough. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you potential ways to develop a new stream of income that can last as long as you live. Kind of like having your own personal pension. You won't have to worry about whether the market is up or down or who's sitting in the White House. You can spend your time instead on the things that matter, like family, friends, and doing the things you never had time to do before. Call Steve All today at 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 and schedule a custom income review at no charge. Or find us online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second-guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
He swings and he gets into one, sending it deep into left center field, back to the wall. It's a gunner! A home run for Contreras leading off the second. Nootbaar led off the game with his 6th home run. Contreras just hit his 6th. 2-0 Cardinals.
Cardinals have been able to score early in the year, even without Wilson Contreras, who really wasn't much of a factor for a while, but we're starting to see the power again from him, and they will need him to continue to do that. It is the Gashouse gang, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji. That voice you just heard is John Rooney, and he will be with us after the 10:30 break. So that is coming up here. Or 12, what did I say? 10:30.
That's
12:30.
That's right.
I'm on Pacific time for no reason. So we'll talk to him at 12:30. But now let's visit with Paul in Kirkwood on the Gashouse gang. Hello, Paul.
Hey, guys. Great show. And I just wanted to say, it just makes me sad. I love Cardinal baseball so much for the people who want to hold on to the negativity just because of principle, and they just need to take a deep breath and bury it. And it's like 94, 95, right before Mr. DeWitt and his group bought the Cardinals, and fans were not happy. I mean, it was a pretty lame duck period where there wasn't much to cheer about. The 70s were similar, but now we're on the cusp of this was supposed to be just a walk-in place year, not a contending year. And the most exciting thing is there's just it's so bright that there's no ceiling on what this season, how it could play out. And, you know, it's so bright you have to wear shades. And you think about all these prospects that are we have in our organization already, you know, with Michael McGreevy and Gordon Gracefo and Quinn Matthews. There's a kid named Matt Koperniak, and all he did was hit in spring training, and he had to get sent down. Barrero, and we have the number 5 pick in this year's Major League Draft. We have J.J. Weatherholt, and so it is so doggone exciting. I just can't get enough. I can't wait for our next game. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, we don't really need to fear the Phillies or anybody, even on the road, because we've beaten some really good teams, and our pitching is lined up perfectly with Libby, Sonny, and Eric Fetty, and a rested bullpen. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it will be tough against the Phillies. Like I mentioned earlier, the Cardinals took 2 of 3 in the first series. That was, I don't know. I mean, they weren't on the road for that one, so maybe it'll change a little bit here. But I agree with the idea that I like the measuring stick games. I don't know that it matters for the whole season, but I would like to see them do well against good teams. And if you're having back-to-back series against good teams, I'd really like to see them do well. And I would feel better about what's happened over the last couple of weeks. It might feel a little truer, if you know what I mean.
I understand.
I mean, these wins matter. Beating Pittsburgh still matters. It's a win is a win. But there is something to beating the Phillies and beating the Mets and beating teams that can play like the Tigers.
Yeah, I just want to see them play well, and the results are showing up. It's one thing to win a series. It's another to sweep. And not to forget, they did take 2 out of 3 against the Mets. The Phillies and Royals are really good, and the Tigers, as you mentioned, are excellent. I mean, they are the best team in the American League. I will say this before the break. MLB put out a post today. Their top things to watch in baseball, number 1 on the list, can the Cardinals win 9 straight? So it's not just Cardinals fans paying attention to this. Major League Baseball, the Cardinals have their attention right now.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse gang. When we come back, the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, will be next.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Land Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Land Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Land Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, 90 and 60. A look back at the latest St. Louis City SC match. Presented by Woods Basement Systems, Inc.
Out of the middle of the field, moves it wide. Horn crosses.
Get in there.
Header! Kangaroos it up over the bar. San Diego orchestrating up the right side. Left-footed shot. Back post! Rings off the back post. Anders Dreyer slams a line drive. City happy to escape. Still tied 0-0. Cello. Laser. Oh, flick. Header. Now ball. A base header. Off the post, but it's flushed on home. Final score, San Diego 2, St. Louis 1.
Up next, City SC faces Minnesota United FC Saturday night. Kick at 7:30 on Y98.
Tripping over uneven concrete? Don't replace it, raise it with concrete leveling. Call the all things basementy experts, Wood Basement Systems, for a free estimate at 618-249-5503 or learn more at woodsbasementsystems.com.
Right now, 67 degrees in St. Louis. Some rain in the area. Some storms could be coming this afternoon, depending on where you are. And we'll have a high of 71 degrees. The weather is brought to you by Overhead Door St. Louis. Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a Banner day.
Marvel joins the Gashouse Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
Nolan Arenado swings, and he drives one to left field. That is hit back to the track near the wall. It's out of here! A two-run homer for Nolan Arenado, his fourth of the year. And the Cardinals lead 6-1 in Washington, D.C.
Cardinals have been rolling lately with 8 straight victories, and they will hopefully keep it going tonight in Philadelphia. 4:50 for Matt Pauley's pregame show and a 5:45 first pitch. Matthew Liberatore will get the start tonight. And it is time to welcome in John Rooney, the voice you just heard. He is the play-by-play voice of the Cardinals, and he joins us now. John, good to talk to you after the Cardinals having won 8 straight.
Yes, good weekend. Very nice weekend in Washington, D.C. The game was teetering a little bit on Saturday, but the Cardinals left no doubt with the way they added a couple of runs in the 7th and then Arenado home run in the 8th inning. And they are playing very, very good baseball in all phases right now.
That they are, John, and they beat the Pirates and the Nationals after they took 2 of 3 from the Mets. And the Pirates, Paul Skeens, the Nationals, Mackenzie Gore, as one of our listeners just pointed out, Henry said both of them are aces. There is no question that the Cardinals offense, I'm glad we brought that up first, really has been impressive, John. I mean, almost everybody has contributed here.
Well, the way they were able to go after Wheeler and Nola in the Phillies series, and we're not going to see Wheeler, but we will see Nola the last day. And the guy who beat the Cardinals in St. Louis is pitching tonight in Christopher Sanchez. He's really good, but so is Matthew Liberatore. That's what we need to start talking about too, because the Cardinals, who are getting the jobs done, Victor Scott II with his electric speed on the bases, his great defense in center field. Walker has played much improved defense in right field. Just get his bat going now, and hopefully he'll take off. But Nolan Arenado had a good game Friday, struggled a little bit Saturday, broke out yesterday. It's somebody different, Tom, every time it seems like, who gets something started, whether it's a walk ahead of a home run or a big double, or whether it's a great defensive play, or whether it's a key reliever coming out of the bullpen, the way Steven Matz did yesterday, and hold on to a one-run lead until the Cardinals could improve on the lead.
So let's talk about Matthew Liberatore, who last week Claves and I were talking about our, I guess, biggest surprises maybe for the year. And I would not say that him pitching well is a surprise, but it might be a surprise just how well he's pitching in a lot of the statistical categories. I mean, he's top of the National League, pretty close to, like within the top 10 of all starters in the National League in a lot of important categories. Why has he been so good?
Well, he's pitching the way they projected him to pitch when the Cardinals made the trade, sending Randy Arozarena to the Tampa Bay Rays. And he's pitching that way now. But he was very young, still very young pitcher, in accomplishing what he's doing. He has taken what he's learned. He has made adjustments, and there are always adjustments to be made within a season. But he's done all that and developed his style and his approach. And hey, he goes out there with a plan right now, and he's executing the plan. And that's what you see from pitchers who grow at the big league level. How they take the hard knocks, they take the successes, they mix it all up. They work with those closely who provide the game plan with Dusty and with Ollie, of course, and those who do the game planning. And he's been able to implement all that. And I really credit him for having the mindset that, yes, I've done a great job as a reliever, and I was a little hesitant to see them pull him out of the bullpen as good as he's been, thinking that he has closer stuff. But what we're finding out is he has starter stuff, and he's getting it done.
Johnny's very smart. He has great tools. He is an excellent competitor. He has all of those things going for him. And he really has a good thing going with his catchers, and particularly Pozo. He told me, in particular, Pozo, they've worked well together. It's just sort of fallen that way that they've worked together. He loves the preparation. Pozo will chat with him between innings and while he's sitting. But really, what a luxury the Cardinals have right now with two catchers in Pages and Pozo that I think are great receivers. Don't you think?
Oh, I do. I think they're really good catch and throw guys. They're good at working with their pitchers, and Pozo has worked very hard to catch up because he had a lot of ground to make up joining the Cardinals after the season started. Now, it was very early because Herrera was injured in Boston, and Herrera will work into that mix. His catching skills have improved. Throwing is where he has had his biggest challenge. But the Cardinals have three catchers and one, Pozo, who can come off the bench, and he's going to put the ball in play. I think he's walked once and struck out once so far in all of his at-bats. He gives you that off the bench, but he does give you a guy who is really making up for lost time, learning the pitching staff, and gaining the confidence of his pitchers as he has that confidence with Matthew Liberatore. But I think Libby has a lot of confidence in Pedro Pages, too.
We talked a little bit about the offense for the Cardinals here, and the power seems to be coming, at least lately. Yesterday with Arenado and Contreras and the home run, and Nootbaar getting into the mix as well. We know that power is going to be an important part of the season if they're going to win. Do you think we're now seeing a turning point of maybe that power being there, like it had been absent earlier in the year?
I think it happened to come in situations where they could swing and crush and do some damage, and in many other cases, in some tight ball games, they've had to do some situation hitting and do some hitting, not just looking for a home run. And there are times when you're looking to put a good swing on a pitch and you're looking to put it in play, the home runs come. But Brant Brown has said many times that home runs are thrown more times than not. And a pitcher makes a mistake, and that batter takes advantage of it. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that Nootbaar parked for a home run, hitting that into the seats above the Nationals bullpen yesterday. And it had too much of the plate, and Nootbaar got all of it. That's what happens on the home runs. I like to see them win games when they're not hitting home runs, when they are getting sacrifice flies, like 3 of them Friday night in the 10-0 win, and getting base hits with runners at second and third and driving in 2. There were many times the last couple of years I was just inside my mind going, just a base hit. We don't need a home run here, just a base hit. Either tie the game, take the lead, or increase the lead, but a base hit would get the job done. They're doing that quite often, and the home runs are coming.
Absolutely. And I love all those doubles. We'll take them all day long. John Rooney is with us. John, everybody talks about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge this, Aaron Judge that. He leads Major League Baseball with 14 home runs. And here's Kyle Schwarber tonight. Schwarber hit 2 more home runs yesterday. He also has 14, John. You're going to have to deal with Kyle Schwarber one way or the other. And the Phillies. Just give us a scouting report from your perspective on the Phillies, especially with that power.
Well, you have to deal with the Phillies in their small ballpark, where if you hit it well, it's going to go in most parks anyway. But Schwarber's just 2 home runs away from 300 for his career. We saw it at Wrigley Field, and it wasn't that he was taking advantage of a small ballpark there or here in Philadelphia. He can hit the ball a country mile. The guy's a home run hitter, so is Bryce Harper. You get Castellanos, who can hit home runs and doubles, and they have a really good catcher in Realmuto. They have a very well-rounded team. They have a lot of power out of their bullpen. They have some big arms out there, and they have some good starting pitching. But try to keep from chasing and put the ball in play, give yourself a chance. That's what the Cardinals did when they won 2 out of 3 against Philadelphia and St. Louis. But now the Phillies have the last at-bat, and all of that is just magnified when you come into a place like this against a Philly team that just took 2 out of 3 from Cleveland and won impressively, as Schwarber hit a couple of home runs last night.
The Cardinals right now are 41 games through the season, so we still got a pretty long ways to go here. As you look at what they've shown us, at least until now, is there something about them that surprises you or something that sticks out that is glaring about them, either good or bad?
I think the improved outfield defense stands out. The starting pitching, falling in line, giving quality starts. And yesterday a situation came up that Ollie needed the left-handed pitcher, Matz, so that kept the starter, Michaelis, from going 6. But those 2 things have come into shape. The bullpen is starting to take shape, and I think that's because the starting pitching is going a little bit deeper. But the consistency of the offense, even in games, a couple of the games that they were at, like that game where Boston scored 18, I think the Cardinals still had, 7, 8 runs in that one. They didn't give up. The guys come up there, they're still looking to do something with each at bat, and they're not giving anything away. And I think that's my biggest takeaway so far out of 41 games.
You mentioned Brant Brown, and that staff right now is cooking. Now, John Jay is responsible for a lot, isn't he, John? Especially that defensive outfield uptick.
I think what his message has been to the outfielders, don't take a pitch off. And he's worked with them on their routes, on their jumps. And it's accountability is what it comes down to. And I think that's important in any line of work in our life or in any sport. And that's what John Jay is relying on, accountability from his outfielders. They put the time in, they put the work in, then implement it in the ball game. And John just has a message that seems to work with those guys. But the proof is in saving their pitchers a lot of base runners.
John, we appreciate it. Great to visit with you, and all the best up in Philadelphia. We'll be listening.
Oh, it's going to be interesting against the Phillies and then Kansas City. Both teams are playing very, very well. And, of course, the Cardinals are playing very, very well. It's going to make for some fun nights.
Yeah, good rest of the road trip coming up here, John. Then the Tigers come to town. So this will be a fun couple of weeks here.
No, it's a great stretch coming up. Very challenging. And I think the team, I know the guys are really looking forward to it.
4:50 pregame show. We'll be listening in. Thanks, John.
Okay.
First pitch tonight, 5:45, Cardinals and Phillies on the road. So chime in. It's your turn. 314-436-7900 to call or text. Voice messages record them from the Odyssey app and send them to us, or comment on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. The Gashouse Gang continues after this. It is Tom Ackerman and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
For the best selection and prices, become a Muni subscriber. You can see all 7 Broadway hits for as low as $126. Great seats are going fast. You pick your night, your price range, and your seat. Single performance tickets, those are on sale May 19th. Single tickets start at just $21. Buy now, muni.org. Call 314-361-1900 or visit the box office in Forest Park.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. It might be time for you to go ahead and switch out your internet. It was amazing when the Pauley household brought in i3 Broadband. The speeds are so much faster. We're saving a few dollars. The service is fantastic. I never have to worry, a storm is coming in. I wonder if my internet's going to go out. They've got local service centers in St. Charles County and the Metro East. It is St. Louis people who are working for i3 Broadband. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Check them out. i3broadband.com.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with 2 chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day with just 2 rinses a day.
Never have bad breath again. You can find Smart Mouth locally at Schnucks and Deerbergs or at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. Visit smartmouth.com to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. That's smartmouth.com/Glover.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The Gas House Gang is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Tom Ackerman and Chris Ranji. Before we get to the Dave Glover Show at 1 o'clock, we're with you every day from 12 until 1, weekdays. Tomorrow, we've got Oliver Marmol, the manager of the team. He's with us every Tuesday, and he gives us a good 30, 40 minutes at the start of the show. He takes questions from the listener, from us. Bernie Miklas is part of the mix, too. And he sees your comments, just so you know.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, he does see it. And he might tell you to get bent. Or maybe not. There is a comment here, in fact, from Mark, who says there's a strong case Ollie's evolving into a really good manager, going to a 6-man rotation temporarily, extending starting innings now, management of bullpen, and his man management all top quality. Here's what I'll say. When your bullpen individual relievers are performing well, every manager looks good. And I think that's the biggest part of it, is hoping that guys settle in. You can't force them to pitch well, and it takes some time to figure out whose roles should be what, other than when you know who your closer is, you start there, and then you work your way backwards, right? And it takes a little time sometimes to get to that point. And I don't fault managers for bad bullpens usually, because if you got bad relievers, you're going to have a bad bullpen, and you can't not use guys. If they're on your roster, they have to be used.
True.
So it's a matter, do you have good enough relievers or not?
You just don't want to use the same people over and over again.
Because
you've got to eventually change the mix until you get what you want.
Right. Because they're done by June. They can't pitch anymore. They stink.
So Ollie's done a nice job there. I think that, just going back to what you said in the beginning, that he sees the comments, Ollie has grown a thick skin. I think that he has managed that very well. Also, the criticism, they all get hit. La Russa got criticized to the point where people wanted to run him out of town, and he might be one of the top managers to ever. Well, he is one of the best managers in the history of the game. If not for Connie Mack, who owned the team, La Russa would be number one all time in wins. And he got roasted in this town until he won a world championship. And then he got roasted again until he won a second one. And then he said, sayonara. So Ollie's going to learn from that. He's very young and he's learning on the job. He was put in a tough position from the beginning. A clunky firing of Mike Schultz led to the hiring of Ollie Marmol, and fans didn't like it. And so they hang that on Ollie. But in the meantime, I agree with Mark. I think going to a 6-man rotation, which I'm going to assume was an organizational decision, but that Ollie was able to manage and was on board with, and that he had a lot to do with. Ollie does not get told what to do. This is a collaborative thing. He's said it over and over between himself and the front office, and he's done, I think, an admirable job of managing people, which is a huge part of being the manager of this team, especially young players. You've got to be able to get them over failure, get them to believe in themselves, but also, as John said, hold people accountable when things are not going well. And he and John Jay and Daniel Descalzo, and I'm assuming Brant Brown, although I don't know Brant, but I know the others from my time covering them as players, they will tell it like it is, and they will hold you accountable. That's how they were taught. And I think that Ollie has a good mix going right now in that dugout of people and the collaboration going on between all of them. But yes, he is evolving right before our eyes. I agree, into a good manager, as people don't want to believe it. And they've already put it in their mind and they won't go back.
Right.
That he's not good, but that's okay. If you're Ollie, you got to forget about that and just do what you do. Manage a baseball team with high expectations.
I've said this before, and I will say it until I pass out, but I do believe, and this isn't just a Cardinals fan thing, this is everywhere, that people tend to think too much of the amount of individual performance influence that managers have on players. And really, it's a one-on-one sport in a lot of ways. The batter versus the pitcher, that starts everything, right? And a manager can't have his hands in every single swing or every single pitch. It is about players performing. And I think it's not that a manager can't have influence. They can, and they can be helpful, and they can also hurt. But I think we overrate just how much that is. And so the early season struggles, I don't really put that on Oliver Marmol. I just don't. I think it's a matter of the roster and the individual players not doing well. And when they're on your team, they have to play. You could argue that maybe the roster just wasn't good enough. And maybe right now they're playing well. We'll see where they are in a couple of months. And then maybe we're looking back and saying, yep, the roster wasn't very good. Or maybe we'll say this is a surprisingly great roster. Hell, where did these guys come from? Maybe that's what we'll be doing. This texter says, you can try to spin this however you want. I bet the stadium's packed once the Cardinals get their head out of their own cans and listen to the people who make them money. It's the fans. As long as they don't care, we won't. People aren't stupid.
Okay, he's saying basically top of the line. So ownership and Build-A-Wit the third underneath his father and John Mozeliak. He's talking about all of them sort of not being able to connect with the fans right now. That's what
basically.
he's basically saying.
Yeah. And then he says we must be on the Cardinals payroll, which I'm not. But if they want to,
not either.
They want to give me something.
That's fine. I'm just all I do is just talk baseball. That's all I've ever been. I'll ask the manager questions about strategy. I'll ask John Mozeliak questions about roster construction. I always ask why. I get answers. Sometimes I get pushback. Dan said, LOL, the Mo hate has always been bizarre. Kevin Kelly says, I've never blamed Marmol. The blame lies with DeWitt and Mo. I'm still unhappy that Gussie had Carlton traded. There was a comment on McGreevy here. That's an example, McGreevy. There it is. I want to see McGreevy, but happy what Miles has given us. I went down that road. Remember, I got called out by John Mozeliak saying I was thinking like a fan. His exact words were, I get your fanboy frustration. I got pushback from Ollie too,
dude.
Remember, I got pushback from Ollie too. He was a little miffed that I even brought it up. That Michaelis, I was wondering if Michaelis should remain in the rotation. Michaelis should remain in the rotation right now. The way that they're doing this, he has transformed into a good starter, and they are finding ways to have somebody available for him after people see him too many times. They're sliding in a Steven Matz and doing a good job there. This is a good baseball team. It's not a great baseball team. No. It's a good baseball team. No. And it's been fun. And it's okay to have a little fun and to say that you're enjoying it.
Well, I don't know how much steam they have. And I mean that for the rest of the season. I don't know how much they can keep this up. And I think the division is a winnable division. I do think the Cubs are probably the best team in the division. The Cardinals and the Reds and the Brewers are probably all kind of right there for the second spot. But that doesn't even mean the Cubs will win the division. It's not always the best team that wins the thing, right? So the Cardinals could do it. And that's my point about the team is that and why I can't give up on the winning aspect yet. I know we're looking at a younger team. We were just talking about this earlier, how there are only 2 players with options in the lineup. That's a pretty young team, but I'm still expecting some wins until we get to the point where I give up and say, well, this is just a season about transition.
These next 9 will be tough. You're playing Phillies, Royals, Tigers. If you can have a winning record out of that, it's pretty 5-4, really, really good.
And I'll feel really good about the rest of the season.
I love these 5:45 games. Good for these morning drive guys like me.
Yeah, you can get to go to bed early.
That's awesome.
That's Tom Ackerman. I'm Chris Ranji. Back with you tomorrow at 12 o'clock with Bernie Miklasz and the manager, Oliver Marmol, who joins the first half at least of the show. And we hope that you'll come back for that. It's the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX.